All right, so what is better, a Yeti mug or a cheap no-name mug? We know the Yeti mugs are kind of pricey. People claim they're great. Or you can buy a cheap knockoff for half the price. Both are made in China. What we're going to do is boil some water. We're going to put the boiling water in each mug. We're going to wait 15 minutes and take the temperature. Then we're going to check it again in a half an hour, and an hour, and an hour and a half, and we'll see if the Yeti holds up. Okay, we have some boiling water.
My bus just now arrived.
We're gonna fill up each mug. Okay, I'm going to close the little lids here, and we're going to check back in 15 minutes to see what the temperature is. I expect that they'll both be really close in 15 minutes. After half an hour, it'll be interesting. Check back shortly. All right, it's been our first 15 minutes. Let's check the temperature on the Yeti. Okay, pretty hot in there, just over 200. And back into the knockoff. Looks like just about the same thing, just over 200. All right, we'll check back in 15 minutes. All right, we're now a half an hour after doing the inserting of the boiling water. Let's see what the temperature is now on the Yeti.
This does not make sense at all.
That is still cranking hot. Really hasn't moved a whole heck of a lot. Still right around 200 according to this thermometer.
Yo, I sort of got it. No, yeah.
And same with this one. I mean, this is a half an hour after putting in the water.
You go to
This might be like,
you go to controllers, like the way.
no, not really any cooler. It's maybe 1 or 2 degrees cooler, but nothing that you would notice. Still probably too hot to drink after half an hour. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna give it another half an hour. We'll come back and check it out. It's now been 1 full hour since we poured the boiling water in. Let's see how we're doing. Call that about 190. Piping hot, very, very hot right there. Let's check out the other one. See how that is doing. And that is also just about the same. So far, it's really a tie between the cheapie and the expensive Yeti. Come back in another half an hour. It's now been an hour and a half. Let's see the temperature inside. Wow, that is impressive. Still 180 Wow, the same. Hour and a half, 180 degrees still in both of these mugs. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave the top open on both. And we're gonna see how that fares. We'll check back in probably 20, 25 minutes and see how that does. All right, 2 hours in. I've had the tops open for a half an hour.
What do we got?
This is still piping hot in here. The Yeti is coming in at roughly 175, I would say.
Wow,
And the
that's impressive.
knockoff might be a shade warmer.
Warmer?
Because you're gonna destroy.
Yep, a shade, like 1 or 2 degrees. But
No way.
the knockoff is, I would say, definitely a hair warmer, but not much.
All right.
I was gonna just call it a tie, essentially.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there you go. We'll check back. I'm gonna close the lids on both,
There you go.
and we're gonna check back in another half an hour. That'll be 2.5 hours on the next check,
Okay.
and we'll see, is the Yeti worth it? 2.5 hours in since putting in the boiling water. How are we doing?
What was it, close to 180 last time?
It was like 175 last time.
What's the Yeti?
Almost 170, just under
The
170.
Yeti is 170?
Yep.
Okay.
And now the knockoff. It's a little shade cooler, maybe
Ooh, interesting.
2 degrees, if that. Not even 2 degrees.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Not
you know.
anything you could detect anyway. Should do an after dinner.
Yeah, it's so close that you wouldn't notice it. It's still piping hot, let's put it that way. 170 degrees is really hot.
That's so impressive.
All right, we'll check one last time. That'll be 3 hours at the next check. It has been 3 hours. How do they compare? The non-Yeti is still hot. Looks like 160. And the Yeti is 161. I'm gonna call that a tie. So unless the logo matters to you, guess you don't need to spend the extra money.